Breaking news from Qwen, which is run by Alibaba, as have just released their QwQ-32B model. This is basically their new reasoning model with 32 billion parameters, and it's rivaling other models, for example, like DeepSeek R1. Now, this is also open source and you can host it locally. I'll come on to exactly how to do that today. Plus, we'll be testing now and I'll show you how to get access. You can see some of the key benchmarks here. So this is QwQ-32B versus DeepSeek R1, OpenAI O1 Mini, DeepSeek R1 Distilled, and you can see the different models here. So in terms of the benchmarks here, QwQ is in red, so it's doing pretty well on the AIM test. Live code bench is just falling behind R1. It's outperforming DeepSeek R1 and OpenAI O1 Mini on live bench, and also leads on BFCL tests, which is basically like function calling. Now, if you want to get access, the easiest way is you can go to Qwen Chat. You can also get it on Hugging Face, and it's also available on Ollama to run locally. So, for example, you can get this for free. You just download Ollama here, and then you're going to go to QwQ and get the 32B model, and you can just run this inside the terminal. So you grab this terminal command, open up terminal, then you're going to make sure you have Ollama running in the background, which you can see right here is the icon. And then you can just put in the code here. So it's Ollama space run space QwQ to call that. And then it'll start running the model locally. The only thing I'm going to say with that is it is super slow. I'm on a Mac M3 Pro and it is really slow to run offline. What you can also do is you can navigate to chat.qwen.ai. And if you select in the top left here between the different models, you can select QwQ-32B preview. All right, so there's all these different models. If we scroll down to Qwen 2.5 Max, which is another really good model, but you want to select 32B. And the one that we're looking at here is QwQ-32B Preview, which is the reasoning and coding model. So if we select QwQ like so, we can get access to it. The other way as well is if we switch between these models, if we switch on thinking mode here, then we can use QwQ inside there, along with web search. And you also get access to artifacts, right? This is super useful because if you combine QwQ with artifacts, then you can start doing some coding tasks. So let's pull this up, for example. We'll say inside here, write a Python script of a ball bouncing inside a spinning tesseract. The thing to note here as well is this is quite, and also DeepSeek R1 has been a little bit unreliable recently when I've tested it. So this is a good option. Plus it's a free model, right? So for example, with OpenAI, O1 Preview and those sort of tools, with, for example, O3 Mini, O3 Preview, etc., you are going to have to pay for those tools unless you just want to keep hitting the limits. So this is like a free alternative. There's some other cool stuff you can do. If we open up multiple tabs here, we can also do a live web search. So if we say what happened on March 5th, 2025 in the AI industry, we can run multiple different tabs using QwQ's thinking mode inside each of these models. So let's switch over to 32B Preview and start running this. The one thing I would say is it's going to take a lot of time to reply, but obviously this is a reasoning model. It's the same with DeepSeek and all other models, right? And then if we come to the results here, so we've said what happened on March the 5th, 2025, QwQ-32B Preview replied, and then you can see here it says, right, here's what happened. And you can see this is all sourced actually from today. So you can connect the reasoning model to the internet and you don't have to pay for a tool like Perplexity to do that. Unlike DeepSeek R1, where typically the search feature breaks directly in the chat and you have to usually use Perplexity to get it working. The artifacts feature is taking a lot of time, like you can see. So it could be a while before it comes back to us, but it's not because the model is slow. Like you can see, it's actually just really thinking that through before it comes back with a response based on a Python script of a ball bouncing inside a spinning tesseract. Now, what we can also do whilst we're waiting for that to load is compare it side by side versus two different features, right? So first of all, we'll open up Qwen 2.5 Max over here. Then we'll use the 32B preview model, and we'll also use DeepSeek R1 as well, just to compare the outputs. So Qwen's previous model versus 32B versus DeepSeek R1. So just to give this a run through, we're going to say build the best possible AI automation calculator website. This is Qwen 2.5 Max without reasoning. We'll compare it inside the 32B preview model using thinking mode, which is, of course, which is Qwen's latest model, and then we'll compare it versus DeepSeek R1 as well. What's also quite interesting here is just like how similar each of the UIs, so the user interface for each of these models, are very similar stuff. So Qwen 2.5 Max has given us a working calculator, like you can see. I do like the artifacts feature as well inside here, super useful, but it's very basic, right? And we said build the website, but it's just created like a basic calculator, nothing interesting there. We've now got the output back from DeepSeek R1, so let's pull this up. This actually looks a lot better, right? So if we compare, for example, the basic calculator from Qwen 2.5 Max versus DeepSeek R1, like the front end is a lot nicer. Just looks a lot more modern, some nice buttons there, etc. But look at this, it's much more modern, turned it into a full website like you can see. And it's included like some nice icons and that sort of thing for the landing page as well. So if you compare the outputs, like the difference between this and this is massive, right? This is like a full-blown website. This is just like a basic tool that, you know, pretty much all AIs can do right now. Now, if we come back to artifacts, it's given us this bouncing tesseract using the thinking mode inside Qwen 2.5 Max. So we're using QwQ as the thinking model. Pretty nice preview right there. One thing to note as well, this is inside Qwen chat, is that they say QwQ-32B preview performs worse in multi-turn conversation compared with single turn. So when you're using this model, it's better to try and get the prompt right from first time, rather than if you go back and forth with it, it's not going to perform as well. So just to recap, show you the differences, etc., really spell this out. So Alibaba's QwQ-32B model is more efficient, right? So for example, DeepSeek R1 uses 671 billion parameters, whilst the new QwQ model uses 32 billion parameters. It also uses multi-stage RL learning, which is pretty crazy. When you think about it, it's a lot smaller, but it matches the same performance in logic, maths, and coding. And it's also open source, right? So this is free for commercial and research uses under the Apache 2.0 license. And you can compare the benchmarks right here, right? So less parameters, more efficient, similar benchmarks on maths, similar benchmarks on coding, is open source, and it actually has a higher context window with 131,000 tokens versus DeepSeek R1's 128,000 tokens. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to save hundreds of hours with AI and make more money with AI to scale your business, feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments and description. This comes with a community of over 268 members, all interested in scaling the business with AI just like you. On top of that, you also get access to our classroom with all of my best automations and courses on email and content automation, social media and video automations, AI agents and workflows, web scraping, AI SEO automations, Q&A call recordings, and a crash course on pretty much everything you'd ever want to know when it comes to automating with AI. On top of that, you get weekly Q&A calls, so you can jump on the Q&A calls and ask any questions you have. And additionally, you can just post in the community anytime you get stuck. And we're just constantly updating this. This is getting updated like every single day. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales, feel free to get that on this free SEO acceleration session. You'll get a custom tailored link building plan so you can generate more leads, sales, and profits from your website. You'll be able to ask our world-class experts any questions you have one-to-one, and you'll learn the best link building strategy custom tailored for your website. So feel free to get that link in the comments and description. Appreciate you watching, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.